You know that feeling when you realize you've been playing a game, but nobody told you the rules changed halfway through. That's exactly what happened to me. And it all started with 2 concert tickets and 6 hours of my life I'll never get back. But before we get to the part where everything fell apart, let me take you back to the beginning. Back when I still believed that effort mattered. That thoughtfulness counted for something. That 3 years of partnership meant we were building something together, not just coexisting until something better came along. My name's irrelevant to this story. What matters is that I'm 28, work in information technology support, and for 3 years I dated someone I thought I knew, someone I thought knew me. Turns out we were both wrong about a lot of things. Here's what you need to understand about relationships. There's this invisible ledger that everyone keeps, whether they admit it or not. It's not about keeping score in a petty way. It's about reciprocity, about knowing that when you show up for someone, they'll show up for you. That when you go out of your way to make them happy, they value that effort enough not to throw it back in your face. I learned the hard way that not everyone operates with the same ledger. Let me paint you a picture of who she was, or who I thought she was. She had this obsession with an indie rock band from her college days. We're talking full-spectrum devotion here. Vinyl records carefully arranged on shelves. Concert posters in frames, not just taped to walls like some dorm room. She had this ritual where she'd play their albums on Sunday mornings while making coffee, singing along to every word, eyes closed like she was somewhere else entirely. Every single birthday for the 3 years we were together, she'd mention it. Just once, casually, like she was making a wish she didn't expect to come true. She'd say she'd love to see them perform live someday. Just once. That's all she wanted. When I found out they were reuniting for a small tour, playing an intimate venue that held maybe 800 people, I knew exactly what I had to do. This wasn't just about buying tickets. This was about showing her that I listened, that those offhand comments she made, the wishes she tossed into the universe, they mattered to me. They landed somewhere. The tickets went on sale on a Tuesday morning at 10. If you've never battled Ticketmaster for high-demand concert tickets, consider yourself fortunate. It's psychological warfare dressed up as a transaction. It's designed to break your spirit while extracting maximum fees. I called out of work that day. Told my supervisor I had a medical appointment because there's no corporate-approved excuse code for fighting a digital queue system for your girlfriend's favorite band. I logged into the waiting room at 9:30, half an hour early, watching that little animated circle spin like it held the secrets of the universe. 6 hours. That's how long I sat there. 6 actual hours of my life, glued to my laptop screen, barely moving. The estimated wait time kept changing. 45 minutes. 2 hours. More than an hour, which is Ticketmaster's passive-aggressive way of saying they have no idea and you're probably wasting your time. I ate lunch at my desk. Just grabbed whatever was in the fridge and ate it cold because I couldn't risk stepping away. I held off going to the bathroom for 2 straight hours because I was convinced that the second I left, my number would come up. My back started aching from the cheap desk chair I'd been meaning to replace for a year. But I stayed, I committed, and I got them. 2 tickets. Row 12, center section. $340 after all the convenience fees, service charges, processing fees, and whatever other creative revenue streams Ticketmaster has invented since the last time I checked. But I had them. That was just the beginning of the plan, though. I wasn't just giving her tickets. I was building an entire experience. I found this boutique hotel downtown that she'd mentioned wanting to stay at months ago. We'd walked past it once on a Sunday afternoon, and she'd stopped to look through the windows at the lobby. She said something about how charming it looked, how she'd love to stay somewhere like that someday. I remembered. $289 per night for 2 nights. Weekend rates. Then came the restaurant reservation. This upscale Italian place she'd been dropping hints about for months. The kind of establishment where you need to book 6 weeks in advance, and they still manage to make you feel like they're doing you a personal favor by allowing you through their doors. I made the reservation anyway. All in, I was $1,200 deep into this surprise. That's not pocket change for someone in IT support. That's a significant chunk of a paycheck. But it felt worth it because I could already picture her face when I told her. I could imagine that moment of realization, that look of pure joy when she understood that I'd been planning this for weeks, that I'd listened, that I cared. Her birthday wasn't for another 2 months, but I decided to tell her early. I wanted her to have something to look forward to, something to be excited about. I thought that was the right call. When I finally showed her everything, pulling up the ticket confirmation on my phone, showing her the hotel booking, the restaurant reservation, her reaction was strange. She seemed happy, yes, but there was something else underneath. Something I couldn't quite identify. She immediately asked if she could take over the logistics for the weekend, handle the planning details. I thought she just wanted to feel included, that she didn't want to be completely passive in her own surprise. So I said sure. I sent her every confirmation number, every detail, every piece of information she needed. That was my first mistake. Not the only one, but the first. Yesterday, while I was at work staring at a screen full of help desk tickets, my phone buzzed with a text message. I read it once, then again, then a third time, convinced I was misunderstanding something fundamental about the English language. The message said she'd given the concert tickets to her coworker. Both tickets. He was a huge fan of the band too, apparently, and he was going through a difficult divorce, and he needed this. She added that I'd hate his taste in music anyway, so it all worked out. We could do something else for her birthday. Ended with lol, like this was some minor schedule adjustment we were both laughing about. I sat there in my cubicle, reading those words over and over, waiting for them to rearrange themselves into something that made sense, waiting for the punchline, waiting for the follow-up text that said she was joking. It never came. I texted back, trying to clarify, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'd misunderstood. Maybe gave the tickets meant something different in some context I wasn't aware of. I asked if she'd given away both tickets. She confirmed. Yes, both. He needed someone to go with. I wasn't into the band anyway, according to her assessment of my musical preferences. I asked who he was taking. She said her. Obviously. Someone had to make sure he didn't spend the whole concert being depressed about his divorce. It would be good for him to have company. Let me repeat that so it fully lands. I spent 6 hours in a digital queue. I spent $340. I booked a hotel, made restaurant reservations, planned an entire weekend around making her happy, and she gave both tickets away so she could go to the concert with another man, a coworker she'd known for maybe 6 months. And she framed this as doing him a favor, as being a good friend. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there, feeling like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed, like the air had been sucked out of the room and replaced with something heavy and toxic. I went to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror under those harsh fluorescent lights that make everyone look half dead. I asked myself if I was overreacting, if maybe I was being unreasonable, if there was some perspective I was missing that would make this okay. I decided there wasn't. I called the hotel first, canceled the reservation. They hit me with a cancellation fee because it was within their penalty window. $289 gone, just evaporated. That hurt, but not as much as keeping a reservation for a romantic weekend she'd already given away to someone else. Called the restaurant next. The host sounded personally wounded that I was canceling, like I'd insulted their entire culinary lineage. I didn't care. I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to care about a stranger's feelings about my dinner reservation. Then I opened Facebook, changed my relationship status from in a relationship to single, clicked confirm. 20 minutes later, my phone started exploding. Her sister, her friends. Notifications piling up faster than I could dismiss them. I ignored all of them. Let them stack up like unread emails I'd get to eventually. Or never. She left a voicemail. I listened to it once. Her voice was sharp, incredulous. What was wrong with me? Was I seriously breaking up with her over concert tickets? I was being immature. I needed to call her back immediately. I sent one text in response. 8 words. Hope you and your coworker have fun at the show. Then I muted her number. Here's what I need you to understand. This wasn't about the tickets. Not really. Tickets are just paper, or in this case, digital confirmations in an email. They're replaceable. Refundable sometimes, though not in this case. This was about what those tickets represented. The 6 hours I sat in that queue. The thoughtfulness of remembering something she mentioned wanting. The effort of planning an entire weekend around making her happy. The $1,200 I spent because I wanted to create a memory with her. She took all of that, everything it represented, and handed it to another man. Then told me I wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway, like my preferences mattered less than this coworker's emotional needs. Like I was just a resource to be allocated wherever she saw fit. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction where one person keeps changing the terms. 3 days went by. 3 days of radio silence on my end, while my phone continued receiving messages I didn't read from numbers I didn't care about. Then she showed up at my apartment. She still had a key. Past tense now, but in that moment she let herself in like nothing had changed. Like she still had access to my space, my life, my evening. I was in the bedroom when I heard the door open. I took a breath, steadied myself, then walked out to face whatever was coming. She was standing in my living room with her arms crossed, fury radiating off her in waves. That vein in her forehead that only appears when she's truly angry was prominent, pulsing. She demanded to know if I'd really canceled everything. The hotel, the dinner. Was I actually serious right now? I asked her a simple question in response. Why would I maintain reservations for a trip she was taking with someone else? She exploded. Said she wasn't taking the trip with him. Just the concert. I was supposed to come for the rest of the weekend. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. The absurdity of what she was suggesting finally hit me all at once. Let me make sure I understand this correctly, I said. I was supposed to sit alone in a hotel room on Friday night while she attended a concert with another man. Then meet up with her afterwards for dinner and the rest of the weekend like nothing had happened. Like I was some kind of placeholder boyfriend who could be activated when convenient. She said I was twisting everything. He was going through a divorce. She was being a good friend. I pointed out that she'd known him for 6 months. She'd known me for 3 years. She didn't ask me if this was okay. Didn't run it by me. Didn't even pretend to care about my opinion. She just made the decision and informed me after the fact. Then tried to soften the blow by saying I wouldn't like the music anyway, as if that made it better. She did this thing she always does when she knows she's wrong but can't admit it. She deflected. Said this was exactly why she didn't ask me first. She knew I'd be weird about it. I was always so possessive. Possessive. That's the word she chose. Because I didn't want my girlfriend attending concerts with other men using tickets I purchased for us. That's possessive now. She rolled her eyes. Actually rolled them like I was being ridiculous. Said I sounded like her father. That's when I knew. Not just that we were broken up, but that we were fundamentally incompatible in ways I hadn't fully understood until that exact moment. We operated from different moral frameworks entirely. I told her I needed my key back. She threw it on the counter. The metallic clang echoed in the silence that followed. Then she demanded I rebook everything. The hotel, the restaurant, all of it. I said no. She asked for the money I'd spent on the tickets. Said she needed to pay her coworker back for his half, like he'd contributed anything. Like this was some joint purchase they'd made together. I told her I didn't give him anything. She did. Whatever financial arrangement they had was between the two of them. She called me petty, childish, emotionally stunted. Said I was letting money go to waste. I explained that it was already wasted. The moment she gave those tickets away without consulting me, that money was gone, evaporated, turned into a $1,200 lesson about who she really was. She left. slammed the door hard enough that pictures rattled on the wall. The next day, her sister texted me, not a brief message, an essay. 12 paragraphs about how I was throwing away 3 years over a misunderstanding, how her sister didn't mean anything by it, how I needed to stop being so insecure about other men. I didn't respond. Then her mother called, left a voicemail saying she was disappointed in me, that her daughter deserved someone who trusted her, that I should think about what kind of man I wanted to be. I didn't respond to that either, but there was more. My ex texted me from a different number, probably her work phone since I'd blocked her personal one. She said the coworker had already made arrangements based on having the tickets. He'd told his kids he was taking a friend to a show, and now they were asking questions. By canceling the hotel, I was ruining his weekend too. I replied that it wasn't my problem. I didn't know him, didn't owe him anything. She said I was being vindictive, punishing him because I was mad at her. I explained I was being practical. Why would I pay for a hotel room I wasn't using? Why would I maintain a dinner reservation for a date I wasn't going on? She said I couldn't just cancel things because I was upset, that I'd already committed. The lack of self-awareness was genuinely breathtaking. She'd canceled our weekend by giving away the tickets. I just adjusted the logistics accordingly. Then I found out something interesting from a mutual friend who apparently thought I should know. The coworker wasn't just going through a divorce for generic compatibility reasons. He'd left his wife because of an emotional connection with someone at work. 3 guesses who that someone might be. I packed up her belongings, everything she'd left at my place over 3 years, put it all in boxes by the door, changed my locks the same day. Checked with my landlord first, got permission, gave him a copy of the new key, everything official and above board. She didn't know about the locks yet. The concert was that Friday. I was genuinely curious how everything would unfold. Friday arrived. I spent the evening at my friend's apartment playing video games and eating pizza, trying not to think about the fact that somewhere across town, my ex-girlfriend was attending a concert I'd planned with a man she apparently had feelings for. My friend kept trying to distract me. Around 11, he said something I won't forget. "You dodged a bullet that was actively trying to hit you and then got mad when you stepped aside." My phone started buzzing shortly after. Unknown numbers, her friends, her sister again. Turns out they had a wonderful time at the concert. Such a wonderful time that they documented everything on social media. Pictures of them together, him with his arm around her, her looking up at him during what I can only assume was an emotionally significant song, matching drinks, a selfie where her head rested on his shoulder. People noticed. Our mutual friend screenshot everything and sent it to me with a single word. Yikes! The comments section was full of people asking who the new guy was and what happened to me. Her response to one comment, "We broke up a while ago, just didn't update my status." A while ago. We'd broken up 1 week prior because she gave away our tickets, but now it was ancient history. She just forgot to update her status. Convenient revisionist history. But here's what happened next, and I didn't have to do anything. Didn't post about it. Didn't make public comments. Her life just started unraveling on its own. First, the coworker's not yet ex-wife saw the concert photos. Because of course she did. Social media makes privacy impossible. She was not pleased. The divorce proceedings got complicated. Something about proving the affair started before their official separation date, which affects asset division in our state. Infidelity during marriage changes entitlement calculations. His wife went after the house, his retirement account, full custody of the kids. Second, people at their workplace started talking. Human resources got involved because someone filed an anonymous complaint about the optics of a manager, taking his subordinate to romantic-looking concerts while still technically married. HR didn't find anything technically actionable since they claimed they weren't together during the investigation. But the optics were problematic enough that he requested a transfer to a different department. His divorce turned into a nightmare. His wife found additional evidence of the emotional affair, text messages, emails, a receipt from the concert for drinks that was timestamped before their official separation date. She used everything to secure a much more favorable settlement. He might lose the house entirely. Third, and this genuinely surprised me, my ex tried to come back. She showed up at my apartment building Saturday afternoon. Couldn't get inside because of the new locks. She stood at the entrance pressing the buzzer for my unit for 5 straight minutes. She called me from the lobby. I watched her on my phone through the building's security app. Just watched her standing there looking confused and frustrated. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail that I saved because it's genuinely remarkable. She said she knew things got out of hand, but we could work through this. She'd been thinking, and she realized she should have asked me first about the tickets. That was wrong. What happened with her coworker was a mistake, and she saw that now. He was dealing with drama with his wife in HR, and she didn't want to be part of that mess. Could we please talk? She missed me, missed what we had. She missed me now. After the guy she chose over me became inconvenient. After his divorce got messy and work got awkward and people started asking questions she didn't want to answer. Funny how that works. I didn't respond. Monday morning, different number again, probably a friend's phone. Different strategy this time. She said I could at least give her closure. After 3 years together, she deserved that much. I told her she gave herself closure when she gave away our tickets and went to that concert with another guy. I was all closed up over here. She said she made one mistake. One. And I was throwing away 3 years over it. I explained she made a choice. She chose him. She chose to attend that concert with him instead of me. She didn't get to unchoose him just because it got complicated. That's not how any of this works. She said this was exactly why we never really worked. I was too black and white about everything. No nuance. I replied that the world must be confusing for someone who can't tell the difference between their boyfriend and their coworker. She didn't respond to that. Tuesday, her mother texted again. Very different tone this time. Her daughter had explained things better, apparently. She understood now that I was deeply hurt. She hoped we could move past this misunderstanding and find forgiveness. I replied with respect but clarity. There was nothing to move past. Her daughter made her choice. I made mine. We were done. She tried calling 3 times. I didn't answer. Her father reached out, which surprised me. We'd always gotten along. He's quiet, doesn't say much. His text was simple. I'm sorry things worked out this way. You're a good man. That one hit differently. I replied thanking him. Said I appreciated being part of their family while it lasted. Wednesday, she showed up at my gym. She doesn't go to that gym. Has never been to that gym. She walked in with a free day pass, found me on a treadmill, and tried to have a conversation while I had headphones in. I removed one earbud. She said we needed to talk. I said no, we didn't. Asked what she was doing there. She said I wouldn't answer her texts or calls. I'd changed my locks. She had to find me somehow. I pointed out that's called stalking. There are legal terms for this behavior. She said not to be dramatic. She wasn't stalking me. She just wanted 5 minutes. I said I wanted to finish my cardio in peace. We don't always get what we want. She reached out and grabbed my arm. Physically grabbed it while I was still on the moving treadmill. I had to catch myself on the handles to avoid falling. She asked why I was being like this. She'd said she was sorry. I removed her hand from my arm, pointed out she hadn't actually apologized. She said things got out of hand. She said it was a mistake. She never actually apologized for what she did. She just complained about the consequences. She started crying right there. Full tears, trembling voice, the whole performance. People were staring. Some guy on the weight bench was openly watching like it was premium entertainment. She said she'd given me 3 years of her life. 3 years. This is how I treated her. I said she gave 3 years and then threw it away for a coworker and concert tickets. I was just respecting her decision. The front desk staff came over, asked her to leave because she wasn't a member and was causing a disturbance. She made a scene about that too, called them rude, called me heartless. told everyone within earshot that I was emotionally unavailable and incapable of forgiveness. An older woman on the elliptical near me shook her head and muttered, "Honey, he dodged a bullet." I switched gyms the following week. Not because I was afraid of her showing up again. I just didn't want that energy while trying to work out. Found a 24-hour place closer to my apartment anyway. Better equipment. Fresh start. 3 weeks later, she finally stopped trying to contact me directly. I think she got the message after the gym incident when I told her the next time she showed up somewhere I'd be calling the police for harassment. I wasn't bluffing. She could tell. But she tried one more thing, had her best friend reach out to mediate. The best friend called with a rehearsed speech about how my ex realized she was wrong. She'd started therapy to work on herself. Really wanted another chance. Had learned so much about herself through this experience. I let her finish. Then I explained that 3 weeks of therapy doesn't fix what happened. It definitely doesn't fix choosing another guy over me and only regretting it when he became inconvenient. I'm not a backup plan. I wished her well, genuinely, but I wasn't interested in trying again. The best friend got quiet for a moment, then admitted she couldn't argue with that. She told my ex this wasn't going to work, that I wasn't coming back. My ex just didn't want to accept it. As for my ex and her coworker, they're apparently taking space from each other now. The workplace situation got messy enough that he requested a transfer. HR didn't technically find anything actionable since they claimed they weren't together during the investigation, but the optics were bad enough that he wanted out. His divorce is a full nightmare. His wife found more evidence of the emotional affair. Texts, emails, that concert receipt timestamped before their official separation. She's using everything to get a much better settlement. He might lose the house. My ex is single now, dealing with the social fallout of her choices being publicly documented on social media. Apparently complaining to anyone who will listen that I blew everything out of proportion and wouldn't even hear her out. Her version of events, from what mutual friends tell me, is that I abandoned her over a misunderstanding. That I couldn't handle her having male friends. She's really leaning into the narrative that I was controlling and jealous. Some people believe her. Most people who know the actual story don't. Here's the thing, though. I don't actually care anymore. I thought this situation would consume me for months. I thought I'd be angry, bitter, obsessing over what I could have done differently. But the moment I canceled that hotel room and changed that relationship status, something clicked off in my brain. The part that cared about her opinion, that worried about what she thought, that wanted her approval, it just went quiet. Like flipping a switch I didn't know existed. I'm not going to pretend the last month hasn't been difficult. I spent $340 on tickets I didn't use. Lost $289 to a hotel cancellation fee. Wasted 3 years on someone who apparently never saw me as a priority, just as someone who would always be there while she figured out what she actually wanted. That stings. It'll probably sting for a while, but I learned something valuable. My time and effort are worth more than being someone's backup plan. I'm not a wallet. I'm not a fallback option. I'm not the safe, reliable guy who sits in the hotel room while she goes to concerts with other men, and then welcomes her back when it doesn't work out. Someone in the comments of my original post said something that stuck with me. They said she didn't give away tickets. She gave away her boyfriend's trust and expected him to thank her for it. Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. I'm not dating right now. Not ready for that. Still processing what 3 years with the wrong person did to my perspective. What red flags I missed. What I'll do differently next time. But I'm okay. Actually okay. Not just saying it. I have good friends who showed up when it mattered. A job that keeps me busy. A new gym she doesn't know about. Fresh locks on my door. And a very clear understanding of what I won't tolerate going forward. For anyone listening to this who's in a similar situation, who's being taken for granted by someone who treats your effort like it's owed to them, who acts like you should be grateful for whatever attention they spare between other priorities, you're not crazy for having standards. You're not dramatic for expecting basic respect. And you're definitely not obligated to stay with someone who treats you like an afterthought just because you've been together a long time. Sunk cost fallacy applies to relationships too. 3 years with the wrong person doesn't mean you owe them a fourth year. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to be willing to hold the door open. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been in a situation where you had to choose your self-respect over comfort, or if you're currently trying to figure out if you're being unreasonable or if your boundaries actually matter, leave a comment below. Share your story. You're not alone in this. And if you found value in this, if it helped you see your own situation more clearly or gave you the courage to make a difficult decision, consider subscribing. This channel exists to share real stories about real situations where people had to make hard choices, where the right decision wasn't the easy one. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. More stories coming soon. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves out there.